Tax Tips Tuesday on 105.9 The Region.
Hey, with tax season just around the corner, KPMG will be here every Tuesday with Tax Tips Tuesday. To help us get started is KPMG and Canada's tax partner, Dal Dial. Welcome back to 105.9 The Region. Dal, how are you?
Doing well, Jim.
Oh, good. So now you're here today to tell us about a couple of new COVID support programs for businesses.
Absolutely. There have been some changes to the COVID support programs available to businesses, charities, and nonprofits in Canada. If you were previously eligible for the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, you can still apply for past claim periods until 180 days after the claim period has ended. But as of October 24th, 2021, the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy and the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy were replaced with two new programs, each offering wage and rent support. These new programs are the Tourism and Hospitality Recovery Program and the Hardest Hit Business Recovery Program. Your business, charity, or nonprofit may qualify for the Tourism and Hospitality Recovery Program if it's either part of the tourism, hospitality, arts, entertainment, or recreation sectors, or if it's affected by a qualifying public health restriction, even if your organization is not in these sectors. This is referred to as the lockdown program. Also, you might be eligible for a wage subsidy, a rent subsidy, or both through the Hardest Hit Business Recovery Program if your business, charity, or nonprofit has faced deep losses due to COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I see. So help is available if you're in certain industries or if you've been affected by health restrictions or if you suffered heavy losses due to the pandemic. I take it there are other conditions?
There are. To be eligible for any wage or hiring subsidy, you have to have had a CRA payroll account on March 15th, 2020, although there are a couple of ways you might still qualify if you didn't. And you need to be an eligible employer. That includes a sole proprietor, registered charity, or a corporation or trust that isn't exempt from income tax. In addition, you qualify for the Tourism and Hospitality Recovery Program as an example if you're in that sector and you suffered at least certain revenue reductions outlined by CRA for certain reference periods.
I take it you can look up the revenue drop thresholds and reference periods on the CRA website?
Yes, correct. And if you don't qualify in the first way for the Tourism and Hospitality Recovery Program as an example, then you might qualify under the lockdown program if you're fully or partially subject to a qualifying public health restriction and as a result had a revenue drop that meets certain thresholds that are dependent on the claim period. If you don't qualify for either of these, you may qualify for the Hardest Hit Business Recovery Program, which is not limited to any particular sector and again provides relief for certain revenue drops over periods outlined by CRA. And finally, Jim, if you're an employer in Canada who continues to be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible to apply for the Canada Recovery Hiring Program, which may provide a subsidy to cover part of your wages as you hire new employees and increase existing employees' wages or hours.
Dal, I think I say this every time we talk, but it sounds complicated.
Yes, and I usually have a tip to make it easier, but there's no way around it this time. This is complicated. You really need to consider consulting a tax professional when applying for these programs.
As always, thanks for these great tips, Dal. We'll talk again next Tuesday. If you missed this week's or last week's Tax Tips Tuesday, go to our Twitter feed at 105.9 The Region or, as always, kpmg.ca.
Tax Tips Tuesday with KPMG in Canada on 105.9 The Region.